Since Zack Polanski was nominated the leader of the Green Party with an 85% majority, he's been hitting the media round, and already the right wing are shook, they're scared, and I want to give you a funny example. It's Sargon of Akkad, Carl Benjamin, the dumb person's intellectual. Let's get straight into the video because it's really telling of his emotional response to Zach Polanski.
You've probably seen the Green Party's leader, Zack Polanski, everywhere recently, because he's had a big push in the media, and honestly, I'm all for it. I want more people to be exposed to Zack Polanski. I don't think they're going to turn their momentum into power, but I do think the more people are exposed to what...
Why not? I'd like to hear his argument of why not.
The Green Party and fellow travellers, your party, believe, the better. Because he comes from a well-off background where he went to private schools. His dad owned a property business, and so they've done very well for themselves. He and his brothers have all been to private schools. His mum and dad have divorced, but his mum's like living the high life, basically, as you can see from a like Instagram feed and whatnot. And great, good for them. He hates the 1%.
That's the level of argumentation. He can't criticize capitalism because he's done well from it. Again, this is all he has. Let's see what else he's got to criticize the policies of the Green Party and Polanski.
I bet he does. What's your relationship with your dad like, Zach?
Not an argument, but okay.
Anyway, so the reason I want him everywhere and I want his message broadcast as far and wide as possible is because it is the polar opposite of everything everyone in Britain actually thinks.
It's really not, though. Wealth taxes, 75% of the population want a form of wealth tax. Deeply popular. Anti-corporate sentiment, even on the right, reform. They want wealth taxes. They want the top 1% to pay their fair share. These are deeply popular. They did that survey a few years ago of Jeremy Corbyn's policies. Deeply popular. Tax, public spending, funding the NHS properly, funding infrastructure, schools, hospitals. People want this. So actually, and Carl knows he's lying. He's a grifter. He doesn't believe a word he's saying. I really don't think he does. I mean, he is both dumb and a grifter. He's kind of fused the two in the direct David Brent-esque way, but he knows he's lying here. This is their reaction, like, everyone doesn't want to be able to afford housing and tax wealths and cost of living. They don't want that. They like. He admitted that Marx is right, but it's a good thing. Your exploitation from your boss and your manager is a good thing. Just shut up. Don't moan about it.
It's just the complete opposite of what people actually want. The only people that Zack Polanski can appeal to are the radical fringe of the left. And that's why the Green Party are pretty consistent in the polls. Yep, we're the Islamo-communists. And
what communism is a Zack Polanski? Again, he always uses this term. It's so ironic that the far right are always like, don't call us far right, and then they call people communists all the time. Trump called Kamala a communist, fascist, socialist. But no, they get upset when you actually call them what they are, far right. Zack Polanski is not a communist. He's a socialist.
Vote for us if you want Islamo-communism. Otherwise, we're not your party, they have to say. I mean, look at this. Migration is Britain's superpower. What? Our future depends on embracing that truth, not denying it. But
Sargon, his family literally come from migrants. He would not be here if it wasn't for migration. The lack of self-awareness is astonishing.
It's not true. That's crazy. Migration is destroying us.
It's not. And he won't give any evidence of that. Just a feeling. The scary brown people coming over here and, making up a fifth of the economy and helping our hospitality, agriculture, and NHS. Ooh, scary. It's scary stuff. It really is scary.
Of course, he goes through his article arguing that this is, of course, good. Britain has always been built on the contribution of the people who have arrived here to build a better life. Right, yeah, so the British themselves, incapable of building anything, actually.
Such a fucking straw man. Didn't say that. When did it? See, he has no arguments. He hasn't actually made a single argument against any of Zack Polanski's policies, what he's trying to do, why he's popular, his focus on cost of living, taxing the wealthy, actually bringing back evidence into why we should maybe tackle inequality, because that will even benefit you, Carl, as well. He's fairly wealthy. He's fairly well off. It will make a society more stable for everybody.
The English, the Scottish, the Welsh, the Northern Irish can't build a damn thing. Haven't managed anything.
Straw man. Just no argument. Just pure emotion. Oh, poor Carl.
But thankfully, charitable foreigners arrived and were like, yeah, you know what? We'll build a country for you, British people. You fucking retards need us. And we're such kind-hearted people that we'll just...
He is so fucking emotional. Let's say, like, oh, they all come here and we don't do anything. Oh, yeah. I actually had a guy from India this morning bathe me. I just couldn't do it. He wiped my arse. He does everything he actually is doing this video right now. This isn't me that you're watching. I bet you didn't know that, did you?
Just do it for you. So you just sit there and relax while us generous foreigners will build the... That's not how it happened, is it? No, that's not.
But he didn't say that. Complete straw. Just nothing. No arguments against any of his policies. There's just zero. Fucking hilarious.
What happened at all. But obviously the issue isn't actually migrants. It's inequality, which is obviously the problem. And so he ends with, the truth is simple. Britain is not...
Well, it is. Can you argue against that? Can you argue against the data that really does inequality drives so many social ills, crime, depression, lack of trust in society, atomization, loneliness, people becoming more introverted and shy? The data is clear. Inequality is the driving force of most of the social ills, not immigration. But he won't talk about that. He won't engage with the data on that because he's just an emotional little man.
Not broken because of migration. Britain is broken because of inequality. An economy that allows billionaires to hoard wealth. I love that they think genuinely Scrooge McDuck. They genuinely don't understand that wealth does not mean money. They just don't understand.
What? No. The wealthy have doubled their wealth since COVID. Outside of London, the UK economy is pretty dead. We don't make stuff. Our economy is based on hospitality, and yeah, it's getting worse. Take London away. We're a dead economy, really. But he won't talk about that. He's not going to... What's his economic plan? What's Nigel Farage's economic plan to revitalise the economy, towns, cities? They don't have a plan. They just want to get immigrants out, which will not help no one. No one.
People's livelihoods are the wealth that he's talking about there, but he doesn't know, right?
What do you mean livelihoods? What, businesses, small businesses? What? Again, no argument. Just nothing.
Because he's obviously a moron. The thing is, as well,
you've not argued against wealth taxes or the fact that we should focus on cost of living, build more houses, tackle climate change, plan for the future. What does our economy look like? None of that. Not interested. Not interested.
Like, he's just been an activist his whole life. He says...
No, he's worked in theatre. He's done normal jobs. He's worked in bars. He probably has more of a connection to reality than you do, Carl, because you spend too much time online. Please get offline for a week, touch some grass, Carl, talk to some people. You're in your little bubble. I know you've done well for yourself, but you are disconnected from the average working people in the UK. People are concerned about cost of living, not brown people, which you seem to have an obsession with.
He went to college, school, dropped out after his GCSEs, or kicked out after GCSEs. Went to a sixth form college, who knows? But he's basically been just a professional activist. And of course, a
Lie.
boob hypnosis grower, which is his strongest argument.
That's your strongest argument. Nothing. A non-story. That's your strongest argument so far. And it wasn't even an argument. You've made no points about Zack Polanski. His viability, his message, policies, literally nothing.
In favour of him, to be honest. But anyway, so the next thing is just legalise all drugs. Oh, God, yeah. So we need more migration, and then we just need all drugs legalised.
Argue the point, though. Argue why people should not be free to take drugs. Look at Portugal and how it was pretty successful there, and that was 24 years ago, 25 years ago. Have an actual argument. Back up what you're saying with data. Why should people not be, criminalized for taking drugs when a lot of people take drugs? I'm not a drug person personally, but I think people should have the freedom to. And then we can treat drug addiction as a medical issue. Will Carl talk about that? Of course he won't. He's not interested in solving problems or solutions. He just doesn't like immigrants.
That is mad, and generally against what the British public actually want. I actually don't think the British public want a man.
Have you looked at that? Actually, it is pretty popular. Not necessarily legalization of all drugs, but to decriminalize drugs and do something different. Because the war on drugs hasn't worked.
Massive influx of crack addicts in their streets. I don't think we need more heroin. Don't think we need more weed. I don't think we need any more drugs, actually.
You don't think? People, again, classic liberal Carl doesn't think people should be able to, enjoy their lives. Again, I'm not a drug person, but I think I have libertarian tendencies, and I think people should be able to, have a choice if they want to take some drugs. Shouldn't take too many drugs. A little bit of drugs might be fine. I don't know. That's up to you.
What possible good would it actually do to just legalise all drugs? I used to be quite libertarian on this, but as I've grown older, I've realised, no, that's a terrible idea.
Why, though? Why? Have an actual argument. He's just saying stuff. No arguments, which is, God, this must be so fun to make this much money just saying nothing. And your audience lap it up.
It's an absolutely abominable idea, because all it's going to do is create more drug addicts and create more problems.
Not necessarily, actually. Not necessarily. People won't necessarily it will just change, and you'll be able to tax it. You'll be able to legalize and legislate drug policy so people won't fall into crime and they can get the help they need. It can make it all above board, and then it won't have that link to crime. That's a good thing. Trying to solve social issues and crime and drug addiction and drug abuse. Actually, it's a way to directly confront, yes, people take drugs. We shouldn't be criminalizing those people. Let's help them, tax it, make it clean, make it above board, and try and improve people's lives. But Carl isn't interested in that, is he?
Create more dependence, create more crime, create more violence. This is
no, it's just saying this. No evidence of this. Just feelings. People who take drugs. Everyone's going to take drugs, and everyone's just going to become a criminal if they legalize drugs, because that's what happened in Portugal, wasn't it?
It's not going to help anything at all. But
no evidence. Just pure feelings. God, he just likes just doesn't like it. Doesn't like it.
He wants an approach led by public health experts, not politicians. Okay, so can we just
He's like, well, we don't like experts here. I mean, Cole isn't a science guy, is he? He's very much about those feelings, emotions. He just has a feeling in his gut that this won't work, and that's all he needs. Doesn't need any experts. He doesn't trust it. Doesn't like science.
Have an approach led by what is right and wrong, and I think actually,
Yeah, but you have to argue that. You can't just say drugs bad. That's not an argument, my friend. In his world, for his audience, that is, which is insane, but that's not an ethical argument based on evidence.
allowing people who are prone towards addiction and taking drugs to take drugs is actually not good for them.
But why are people prone to addiction? Often that is correlated with poverty, inequality. People with hard lives, trauma, are more likely to be addicted to drugs, and they use it as a coping mechanism to numb the pain. Maybe we try and tackle inequality, and then people won't be as reliant on drugs as they are. Oh, no. Okay. No, that's data and science and sociology. Carl's not interested in that.
And I think we have an obligation to stop that. And of course,
How, though? How? How are you going to do that, Carl? Well, end there because it's so fucking stupid. We're 4 minutes into a 12-minute video. Not made a single argument. No argument, just feelings. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like it. Pathetic. Pathetic. But he's rattling the right people. Sargon's rattled. No arguments. They have no real arguments against Zack. He's quite funny, charismatic, strong rhetorician. He's quite feisty. He's getting more feisty. He's not afraid to like have a bit of a clickbaity duel, and I think that's really good. I think we need to embrace the fact that he needs to get out there. His voice is powerful. His message is powerful. And on that note, have you joined the Green Party yet? If you haven't, what are you doing? What are you doing? Do right now. Do it. I mean, hit the like button on this video and then join the Green Party. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.